All right, everybody, welcome back. This is JP Trades. Let's dive into another update video, and this time we're going to go over the ES or S&P 500. So we can see that on the higher time frame, we have broken above this trend line and back tested it several times. And I'm sure a lot of people are getting into tons of longs right here, expecting us to go to the moon. However, we do need to recognize that this could just be a fake out. So what am I looking at? Let's take a look at the 4 hour, and we had our structure following down. Actually, let's go back to the daily because it's actually no, that was 4 hour structure. My bad. So let's go to the 4 hour structure, and we can see this coming down. Swing structure. Broke back bullish here. I'm sorry, let me redraw that. Broke back bullish here. And then we fell off again. Anyone knows my rules would skip that low as not a significant low. This would be your next low and high. And this was your break. So we do have that market structure shift back bullish on the 4 hour. I am now looking at this as your most recent range. And I do want to be aware that this could be a power of 3 in the making. So this is your potential trade setup in the making way before it is happening. And this is what to look out for. If we come back and finish this manipulation range, I would like to see this entire range taken. So this would be your accumulation, manipulation, followed by that distribution. And just like on Bitcoin, this could just be seen on a higher time frame level as your redistribution. So let's go back to that daily time frame. So this is kind of what I'm looking at here. And this could be your lower high to go down to your lower low. We're going to start this kind of downtrend parallel channel, if you like to use channels. So we have that idea in the back of our heads, but we need to break below this trend line. But in my opinion, something to pay attention to more without tons of fake outs, because I don't really trade off of trend lines. I would want to see this demand broken that is holding this support up right here. So what does that look like? So we have, oh, wrong tool. I grabbed my anchored VWAP. So this area right here is our current demand that we're currently bouncing and supporting from. So if I want to see the bears or sellers take control, we had this one rejection. So demand is doing its job currently. However, if we break down, get that back test, now this is where I would get involved after these lows are broken. So it's the same thing as watching supply and demand or watching your market structure. The two foundational things I preach about over and over again. So let's hide. How do I do that? Actually, let me just do it from over here. Hide that trend line because it's getting in my way. And yeah. So what have we done the past few days? Into last week. So this is last Wednesday, last Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and this was Monday. and on to Tuesday today. So let's go down, drop down to the 1 hour and see what is happening inside our 1 hour range right here. So now we are looking at this area as our 1 hour range. We can see that we popped into one of our supply order blocks, had a very, very nice move down. That was a very nice trade. Came down here back into this demand, had another long for a nice trade, came back up into the same supply zone again for another nice short. However, you probably had a newer supply zone to trade from, which you did. This was your new supply zone. So let's go ahead and get rid of the old zones. So those are tapped. And so we would be left with this zone here. We tapped in that for a nice short. And we're tapping into it again for another nice short. And now we have this newly created supply here. Going to put an alert here, right ahead of that supply zone. We are currently bouncing from our demand zone. That was a very, very refined zone. This was already a really nice trade. I'm sure it's about to go back up to VWAP for an 8-hour trade, man. Some of these order blocks, I'm telling y'all, are just insane. This is the way to trade if you want to trade with minimal risk, but extremely high reward. You just have to have some practice trading them, have to have some practice understanding where to trade them, which ones are best to trade, and how to confirm these. And I help you with all of that in my one-on-one mentorship and my soon to be released courses sometime next year. And if you would like to understand this to a greater degree, just reach out to me in the Discord and we can get you set up on a one-on-one mentorship and basically teach you everything I know, teach you all the foundational concepts, but also customize things to your schedule, customize things to your psychology, like where are you making mistakes? What do you need the most focus on? How to zero in on the most important things and cut out all the noise or all the low impact things. So we want to kind of cut out all the low impact strategies, the low impact concepts, and just really dig in on those. I really have about 5 concepts that are the foundational concepts that take you very, very far. And then of course, there are levels above that that get more advanced that allow you to take many, many trades every single day like I do. And you could make unlimited amounts of money. So just looking at this range here, I really like both of these levels that we've already hit. Now you're getting back into the middle of the range. So I can't advise you to take any trades right here. This is kind of going to be a chop zone for me in this range, right? Just like that. Look at that. You don't want to trade any of that. It's horrible. No, skip that. Trade something else or be patient and wait for the day to go by. And this is why I set these alerts here. Patiently waited, right? So let's go down, drop down to 10. I want to see if we have any demand left down here at these lows. Anything exciting? Nothing. Nothing that I'm kind of interested in down there. So, as we already know, we're looking for our power of 3 play, this being the manipulation for a bigger redistribution drop back down. This could be a Model 2 distribution, similar to what I've kind of pointed out on Bitcoin. So you have your tap 3 Model 2. You've had your market structure shift here. And this is the retest zone to potentially break down further. Now, what I would want to see is this low taken. So I want to set an alert at those lows because I want to be alerted when this low right here is taken. So then I can pay attention to another break and retest model to get me back into a short. Since we are bouncing from demand, I want to see this broken. But more importantly, I want to see this low broken. So I prefer this area, the deeper and discount area for a long, but that's going to be probably a ways away unless we just get a rip down real quick, right? Which can happen. Why? Because we are paying attention to that power of three. And usually these moves do rip down very quickly. So go ahead and set your alerts here. Be ready for this potentially today, tomorrow, sometime this week. That is not out of bounds. So I do also want to take a look at this inner range. And that would lead me to this area right here that I like a lot, preferably this order block here with these naked points of control. However, we do have a lot of naked VWAPs right there. I do not like this level as much as this level. Move that. Let's take a look at the volume. Oh, wow. So all the volumes in this manipulation phase right now. Absolutely. Okay, let's check the entire leg of structure up. So we do have a nice high volume node right here. We also have another high volume node here. Definitely not as large as this one, obviously. So let's take this volume all the way back from the previous higher time frame high. Now that is getting interesting to me. So we do have a point of control in this. And now that makes me a bit more interested in this here. So this is why I do mark out all the order blocks. Again, this could be the continuation long. And we might just leave this area behind for now. We take these highs, maybe even those highs here, and then come down for that. You don't know how or when, you just have to be ready when you get to this area. So I do like both of those. I want to take a deeper look into this entire structure here. Let's go up on the 4 hour. I want a high time frame pull. Yeah, I actually do like this order block. Let's put an alert there. I like that one a lot. Put an alert around that one as well, since I have not yet for some reason. Okay. And yeah, that order block is going to be heavy. And from the last structure low, yes. Okay. I changed my mind on that order block, guys. Okay, my bad. I actually really like this order block. We don't have any other levels right here, but volume is telling me what I want to see. So not going to ignore it, right? Put your alerts here. Be ready. 67, 70-ish. But we still have to break down from this low. And I'm still not ignoring this power of three, which the target of the power of three is this low here. So you have to treat this as a scalp and leave a runner. Okay. So we have two kind of, we have two ideas that are kind of contradicting each other, because we did just get that market structure shift here, which is saying, hey, we're breaking back bullish. However, the higher time frame is still bearish. But we already know that after a market structure shift, we are going to look for some kind of pullback. But is it going to pull back and do this kind of thing? Or is it just going to pull back to here and lift off? Or do we just work our way down steadily and grind down? We don't know. However, this power of three play wants me to think that this move is going to be quicker. So yes, so if we get down to this order block that had those point of controls in it, it's definitely a long for me as long as we get the confirmation there. However, I will have to see it really break back up for me to stay in that trade to contradict the power of three idea that I had earlier. So this is going to be a bit of a trickier setup. Yeah, so again, just watch for this. A bounce here, then a bounce down. I know this is the point of control, and we could get that entire range rotation, but there are many times where we just come back to the point of control of that range. And let me put it on screen again so it's very clear. Come down to this point of control and then just continue on higher. I would like to see how many people get trapped here. I'm going to need to see more data at that point to try to configure whether I want this to be a swing or a scalp or continuation day / swing trade to take out all the highs, right? So yeah, we'll have to do a deeper dive when we get to that level. Just taking a look here. Any other ideas on this 4 hour to 12 hour to daily time frame here? I mean, these levels could take a while to hit. However, I would be watching this level and this level for some nice longs. This level as well as this level. So you have 4 levels to the downside. But if this power of three really does play out, they could get ripped through. But you will absolutely know not to long any of these levels if you're just going right through them, right? So don't set limit orders here, guys. Don't do that. Let's go back to the 1 hour range because that's the one that we're playing now. Let's break it down to the 30-minute actually. And let's go to our TPO profiles. I want to hide this stupid trend line, get it out of the way. Yeah, I mean, this level right here was a very nice long of value area low of this profile, order block, and this could be taken back to this point of control here or this supply and back down. So again, mark your alert right here. Wait for this area to get hit. Check out the SVPs. Yeah, so everything I said up to this point still stands. This video is getting a little bit longer now, so I'm going to cut it here. watch for this value area high of the weekly profiles. Again, this is going to align with that trend line. It's going to align with the manipulation right here. You want to see all of that broken down. Structure, the range, everything in this zone right here. If we break down from that, it's short city time. Now, in your current range, I'm sorry to say that we are just fiddling in the middle at the moment, and we have missed, well, maybe you didn't miss if you were paying attention to my charts, because they're always updated and you have the interactive links. So you always have my updated levels. As soon as I mark a level on here, it gets updated on that link, and you have them all 24/7. So maybe you took this short and this long. Congratulations. However, there is no trade in the zone until we get back below this low, sweep this low, sweep these lows, or sweep this high, or let's go and take this off now, by the way. Don't need that. So I would be paying attention to this order block for another short. I would be paying attention to this low as well as that value area low that was right here for a potential long. And of course, these highs into these levels right here. So set your alert here, set your alert here, set your alert here and here. Once these alerts go off, look for your confirmations. Those are the only 4 areas that I'm looking at. 2 longs, 1, 2, 2 shorts, 1, 2, or let's make that 3 actually on the short side, which this is all kind of one area really. That's all I see in this range that I'm interested in. And to be honest with you, if I were to make this super simple, I would just be interested in taking out these highs and taking out these lows. Those would be the 2 main trades in this area that I'd be interested in. This would be number 3, because since we have already broken down, this could be your back test to break out to the downside. And that is it. That's where I'm going to leave you all today. Set your alerts, wait for your confirmations. Catch y'all later.